Okay guys, we're looking at 6.3e. I can multiply and divide positive rational numbers fluently. So when I look at 5/8 times 1/4, remember that dot can represent multiplication. When we multiply fractions, we just multiply across. So 5 times 1 is 5. 8 times 4 is 32. There is not a number that goes into both 5 and 32 evenly. So this is the most simplified answer that I can get. So it stays 5/32. When I look at the next one, I have 14.2 times 1.12 or 1.12. It does not matter which number goes on the top and which number goes on the bottom when we multiply. However, I can multiply by 1s and 2s a lot better than I can 1s, 4s, and 2s. So usually whatever is the easiest you want to put on the bottom. But notice how the decimals didn't line up. The decimals do not have to line up when we multiply decimals. So let's get started. We have 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm through with the 2, so I put a placeholder. I put a 0 in its place. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. I'm through with the 1, so I put a 0 in its place, but I also have to put a 0 in place of the 2 as well because I'm not multiplying by it either. So now I've got 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1. I have 4, 8 plus 2 is 10, so I put down the 0 and carry. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, and 1. Now we have to count our decimal places. I have 1 decimal place here. I have 2 decimal places here, which means I'm going to have 3 decimal places total. So my answer is 15.904. Since we're not having to put this on our grid or answer it any other way, I can leave it as 15.904. So that leads us to the 5/8 divided by 1/4. Remember that I need to stay, change. So I'm going to stay with 5/8, change division to multiplication, change 1/4 to 4/1, and then I multiply across. 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 1 is 8. There is a number that goes into both 8 and 20, and that number is 4. If you start with 2, that is more. You are more than welcome to do that. It just means you're going to have to reduce again. But if you go with the biggest number, you only have to reduce once. So 20 divided by 4 is 5, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my answer is 5/2. Now I'm going to let you work I'm not going to work all of this last one. I'm going to work some of it with you. It says a grocery store sells steaks for $6.10 per pound. What would the cost? So we're looking for the total cost of 2 3/5 pounds of steak be. Well, the first thing I have to do is I have to take this 2 3/5 and I have to change it to a decimal, because our hint was that we make sure that we change the fraction to decimal, or we could have changed the decimal to a fraction, but it's a lot easier just to change a fraction to a decimal. First I have to change it to an improper fraction. So 5 goes into 2, or 5 times 2. So remember, we multiply. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13, and then I just bring over the 5. So it's 13/5. So now I know that it's going to be 13 divided by 5, because remember that division, this sign also means division. So 5 goes into 13 2 times, which is 10. 13 minus 10 is 3. Add that decimal, can add a 0 and bring it down. 5 times goes into 30 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 minus 30 is 0. So my answer is 0.6. So because it's per pound and then with a total cost, that means I'm going to multiply my cost times how many pounds I have. And I'm going to stop right here because I'm pretty sure y'all have a good idea of how to multiply decimals now. So I'm going to leave this to y'all. And if you have any more questions, just ask me tomorrow. Stay tuned for your next videos.